everyone, it's one half of the Flights of Fancy Stitchers. My name is Morgan. I am Charlene's daughter. I did a video with her a couple months ago. We did a tandem video like we normally do. You don't hear from me very often. I work for the state of Kansas, and I also am a full-time pet parent and soon to be tiny human parent. I'm a radiation worker, so most of the time I'm in the office 5 days a week. I got today off though because I had jury duty this morning. They exempted me because of chili, and so I am home this afternoon and thought, why not do a quick little WIP parade? And it's not going to be quick because I've got quite a few projects. I don't have an updated list at the moment, but I will be getting there. Right now I've just got piles, as we love to call them. So Chili is doing great. We have an updated another appointment next week. We'll have an update on the ultrasound and see where Chili is growing. At our last ultrasound, we found out that Chili is growing a lot quicker than planned, which is a good thing, but it also just means that we need to be, a little bit more aware. So healthy as possibly can be. Chili is just growing like a little weed, and that's a good thing. So if you don't hear from me between now and my next video, it's because I'm busy with work and getting ready for Tiny Human's arrival. So with that being said, I'm going to dive into the WIP parade and show you guys my pretties. It is very chilly today. It went from 90 degrees over the weekend down to the 50s today. So it's a little chilly up here in the craft room. We aren't running the heat right now because it's too much of a fluctuation and it's shocking our heat system. So jackets and blankets for the win. I'm going to go ahead and dive into it. I've got a pile right next to the tablet, and then I've got piles down here on the floor. And then at the end, we'll chat a little bit more. So let's go ahead and get started. And like I said, this is going to be a WIP parade. I haven't been stitching a whole awful lot, but I am trying to stitch when I have time. And time is not my biggest friend. My partner, fiance, husband, boyfriend, my person, whatever you want to call Logan, is a diesel mechanic. We wake up at 4 a.m. every day so he can get to work, and then he doesn't get home until around between 5:30 and 7 most nights. So it's pretty much I get home, do what chores need to be done, we eat dinner, and then we go to bed. And it's that way all week, and I love my life, so I don't complain, but it does cut into the crafty time. So when I get the crafty time, I take advantage of it, and today is one of those days where I get some time. So away we go. My first, no particular order, I am going to preface with that, project is Cancer by Nora Corbett. I am a Cancer. My birthday is in July. So Mom got this for me a couple years ago, right after it came out. It was released in 21, so if I recall, she got it right after the release date. And we started, so she just finished her Aries, and it is absolutely stunning. I am nowhere near finishing my Cancer, but I might work on it today because I would love to get a dent in this project. However, I have worked in some cray neck, so there is some sparkle in there. And just like Mom's, I am procrastinating on doing her skin. There's Karen Water Lilies and Fancy Floss. This is one of my favorites. It's a beautiful marbled purple. And then I've got my beads and the rest of my DMC. And then this is also a piece that I have dyed. So while I do typically color fast all of my stuff, you never know if the dye is fully set, so we don't typically wash any of my material after we stitch on it. So that is where I am at with my Nora Corbett Cancer. I believe the last time I worked on her was actually around my birthday last year. Just as a homage to me. But I can't remember because the last year has been very chaotic, and that's nobody's fault but my own. My job keeps me very, very, very busy. My next project is Quick Stitch Cancer by Sarah Butcher. Did I start? Actually, this one might, yep, it is started. And it looks like I'm stitching this one on 18 count. I do have this in Pattern Keeper, but we had originally bought the hard copy. And I have a very small, very, very small start. And I've been bobbinating as I have been going for this one. So, as I go, I have put stuff on bobbins and such. A lot of times in the evening, if I've got a lull, I will just sit and bobbinate. I have cats, as all stitchers do, it would appear. And my one cat is obsessed with stealing the plastic doodads, or paper doodads if they're paper rather than plastic, and she'll carry them around like a trophy and then tries to eat them. So I have to be really, really careful when I bobbinate that those either go directly to the trash or directly into a bag or something that's going to be taken to the trash, or I will be chasing a 10-pound feline around the house trying to get a piece of plastic. And 6 months ago, very easy to do. Now, no. So I cuss my fur children out greatly, and it's both Little Miss, Juju, and Sweet Pea that I have issues with plastic with. I don't have to worry about them stealing hair ties. I don't have to worry about them stealing the floss. No, it's just plastic. And cats, they're weird. Okay. So I had planned on starting a temperature piece this year. That plan did not happen. I had kitted up the colors, the flosses, I had downloaded the pattern, and I was ready to go. I just didn't get it started this year. I think honestly, between everything going on with work and personal life, I just haven't really taken the time, which is no excuse. I do still have last year's going as well. I was traveling with it for a while, but between being in either Tennessee or DC or Louisiana or trainings here in the state, I just didn't have time to keep up with it. So I was writing it down or writing the temperatures down and doing the things. I just never finished it up. So the project that I was working on for this last year was the Walk With Me. Mom has stitched this one before. I don't believe you can see it in her videos. It sets up on her wall above her sewing table. So this is where I was. It looks like I got not quite halfway, at least for the paw prints. It looks like I got to June, so I'm not quite halfway. Last year was a very warm year, so I do know July and August will produce some very beautiful reds and oranges. This is something that I would love to get taken care of, but like I said, by the time, the last time I probably worked on this, I was traveling a lot. I'd spent the entirety end of March and the very beginning of April in Tennessee. And then majority of May I was also in Tennessee for work. So my stitching time was cut down drastically. And by that point, Logan had also started working in Manhattan at the company he's with now. So we both were we were working on figuring out a new schedule. This is one of the mini zipper pulls I have made. I had started one of the other temperature pieces that, to my knowledge, is not finished yet. And there is a reason why it is still in timeout. And so that's why it has a flower. But it's also just, a floral bag. And this is just the permanent temperature stitch bag. Okay. Next, and it has been a while since I've showed you guys how far I've gotten on this one. This one is Story Keep Simply Meant to Be by Sherry Gearhart. And if anybody has followed us for any amount of time, everybody knows I am obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas. I am obsessed with the story. I'm obsessed with just everything. This is the bag Mom made me. Orange on the inside, and then she used some white as a liner. I had a blouse out of this, and then just more pretty fun. I have made progress. I've actually made quite a bit of progress. So this is where we are at now. I finally completed the top 2 pages. So now we are down into her, and oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun working on her. And then I've been working my way over into his hand. So his hand comes up here, and so does her arm. So I'm getting back into a lot of the confetti of the grays and the dark colors. So I need to get back at it with this because I want to see it done. I just need to sit down and do it. So add that to the long to-do list of it should have been done. I've been working on this one for years. It was actually my first Hate I ever started. And I would love to get it done and see it up on our walls. This is my travel project, and actually, conveniently enough, got brought into the house the other day, so I can show you guys. I started this when we were visiting my parents, I want to say in October last year, but Mom can confirm that one because she started with me the same day. This is a really great travel piece for me. I believe we're doing 16 count for it. It might be 14. No, it's 14. So it's 14 count Ada. I can't remember if this is a piece that she dyed or I dyed because we both love to dye Ada. We cut it up though and, just made it work. So I am working on this one. So beware of wiggle butts. I have 3 wiggle butts. So it's perfect. This one is currently sitting in timeout. There's a little bit of story about why it's in timeout. So like I said, it's a travel piece, so it doesn't get a whole awful lot of love. Last time I worked on it, I completed the L, and then I dropped down here and was working on the E. And I had been having some issues with my car. It was due for tires, and I was procrastinating, as one does, because who wants to go to the tire shop? And I had taken it in, I had reached out because our sensor said, oh, you have a flat tire. Do I though? I checked it. It was fine. We actually put a tire gauge on it when we aired it up, and it said it was fine. And it's like, okay, well, that's weird. Took it into the shop and said, okay, well, maybe there's a slow leak that needs to be patched or something just to get us by until, tax return season. And they're like, yeah, we can't find anything. Okay. A couple weeks go by, don't have any issues. Well, we had a really warm snap. And when I say warm, March and February for Kansas is pretty cold most years. This year it's been astronomically insane. So it was really, really warm during the week, and then come Monday, that following week, it was barely above freezing. And I walked out to my car to start it and warm it up, and it was set, or the tire pressure for that tire was setting at 21. My tires typically run between 35 and 40. And immediately, okay, what's going on? Why are you flat? Did I accidentally hit a nail? What's happening? I got it aired up. It held pressure that whole day. Well, by that point, I decided, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet and just get my tires. And so, took it in that afternoon, got the tires. Well, and me getting distracted by me monitoring and making sure that they actually did what they were supposed to, I missed a whole row of stitching. So I had to rip out all of the E and the entirety of the B that I had gotten done, which essentially was half of the stitching that I had gotten started. So it got put in timeout very quickly. And by that time, my car was done. So I was able to, get home and get dinner made. And now I just need to make, correct my mistakes. So the next time I'm at, taking care of whatever, I can get back on track. My car is actually currently still in the shop, or at another shop for another issue, so it should be getting some love here pretty soon. But okay, next one. Now, I do not have a cover picture for this one. It is on Mom's Facebook page. We started this one together, and I know for a fact that she is much further along than I am. This is Louise Lalier, 1901. And all I have are these beautiful little flowers. And I think now that I have a little human coming along who needs to be able to know their alphabet, it would be quite poetic for me to get this done in a timely fashion so that I can teach my tiny human the alphabet. So maybe I will get my poop in a group in the next 3 months and get a dent in that. Okay. And I will have to look up the name of this one. This is... Give me 1 second. Okay, found it. So this is called Heart of America. And this is the mini of this pattern. Mom was able to get it for us to start, I believe, for the 4th of July this last year. So I have a huge dent in most of the blues in the top corner, which there's a ton of blue in this corner, a ton of confetti as well. So this will come out again here in the next couple months for me to stitch for the patriotic holidays. And I believe it's been mentioned before, but I will mention again. Logan is ex-Army, so patriotism is key in our household. So I make it a point to, or we make it a point to recognize the patriotic holidays. Okay, the next project, which again, you will have to visit either our Facebook page, Mom's Facebook page, if you follow her on there, or our Instagram. This is Away We Ride. And again, Mom has a lot more done on this than I do. But this is where I am at. So the house and a bird. And this is some 18 count Ada that I dyed. I was going for the spooky witch house vibe, and I feel like I mastered that. So that is the progress for that one. And I do have quite a few Halloween pieces going. I don't think I have. When I say quite a few, not solely Halloween, but I do have a couple pieces. They're intermittent throughout everything, though. Okay. Okay. The next project that I have. Okay, so this is Spooky Street, and this is actually out of a Halloween just cross stitch, I believe 2019. Let's find out if it was on here. 2018. The design is by Pickle Barrel Designs. So I don't have the finished picture. Like I said, it wasn't my book, but I do have my project. So this is where it is at. There's actually some specialty floss in here, and a ton of DMC 310. So it looks like I was working on the roof the last time I had this out. And then I know I was working on the door, and I worked on some of the pumpkins. I do remember that I was trying to make it a point to do at least one swath of the 310 each time I had this out, just because there is so much of it. You can look it up. The house is all 310 minus the door and the windows. So I try to make it a point to get all that taken care of. Sorry, I have cats. I have my door shut right now that leads up here because my cats will get into anything and everything they can up here. All right. This is my Summer Quaker bag. Summer Quaker is by Rosewood Manor. Ooh, sorry. And I have Summer Quaker, Autumn Quaker, and Winter Quaker going at the moment. Spring Quaker is kitted up, but I have not landed on a piece of Ada that I am happy with when I have dyed it. So, we are working on it. This project, why it is not done, is beyond me. Do not come at me. I have been working on this for years. I actually fell in love with it when I came out here to Kansas to visit KU right before I started college. So that is how long I've had this. So I did a center start, and this was before I was comfortable doing corner starts. I know I've got at least 2 pages done and maybe half of this page. I know this one isn't going to be fully completed because it has the year on it, and obviously we do the year we finish it. So Ada dyed by me, and then I am using the called for fancy floss. It's Valdani, and then these are all stitched on 14 count. So this one is I'm hoping to bring out so I can get some more love on it this summer, and I will have a lot of time this summer because I will be off this summer. Okay. Okay, so this project I started during COVID, and I do remember that much. It was actually a mania start. It's called Cactuses, and all I have done on it is this guy and then the majority of the snake plant. I do not plan on doing the whole thing. I do not enjoy the stitch. I find it to be quite honestly slightly childish in my opinion. And it's nothing against the designer, it's just not what I would stitch now as an adult. I'm still a teenager when I started it, but it would be absolutely adorable to finish as a little like 2x2, 3x3 frame and put it on my desk at work. So I just need to do the back stitch on the snake plant and then I will be done. And then I can get this one out of the box. Like I said, I just don't enjoy it anymore. And every time I work on it, the last time I worked on it, it was for a spin and I couldn't enjoy it. So I just said, okay, I need to come up with a new plan for this. So the new plan involves finishing up the snake plant and then calling it good. Because it's my stitching. I get to decide how it gets done. Okay. Next project is, oh, excuse me. Oh shoot, I can't remember what this one's called. Ghosts and Goblins. And I believe Mom has finished this part. It was a stitch along, also again during COVID. I do have the pattern. I do not know where it is right now. I believe it's over in my pattern box with the rest of them that she has sent me. It is safe. I just not sure where it's at off the top of my head. So this is where I'm at. Still have a ton left in the Reaper's cloak, and then backstitch, and then the ghosts. This is fancy floss, so it is not able to be washed. So I'm procrastinating on doing the white until the very last minute, so I don't stain it. And like I said, if I recall, Mom has finished at least Ghosts and Goblins and is working on the witch part now. Don't quote me. Okay. This was a release during the Arctic Blast a couple years ago by Carolyn Manning. And it is legitimately called Arctic Blast. And it is just this beautiful collection of blues and gray and a ton of white. I typically pull this one out and work on it during snowstorms, because it's a snowstorm piece poetically. This is one that I do, I'm not super worried about the white just because I can wash it. It's a full coverage piece with just DMC, so in theory there shouldn't be too much bleeding. And then Mom made us snowflake bags for this one. All right. This is a 4-in-1, and I thought, nope, not yet. This is all of my Art Nouveaux, and I know for sure Mom has finished the winter one. I'm not sure if she has finished any of the others, though. She might have summer done. Can't remember. Like I said, I know for sure she has winter done. These are, I can't remember the designer, but we both are doing them right now. And they are basically the stained glass look. And, excuse me, I'm sorry. We both really have been enjoying them. So, spring, which ironically enough, my daffodils are finally blooming. So, spring Art Nouveau, excuse me, the summer Art Nouveau. So, this will be roses, excuse me. And then obviously, spring is daffodils. And then, I believe it goes this way. This is the winter Nouveau, so poinsettias, however you say them, say that word. And then fall, autumn, which is grapes. And I haven't gotten very far on this one. I need to get it back out and give it some love. So that is where I am at. We took and blew, or Mom took and blew up the pattern so we could actually read it, because when we photocopied it, our photocopier ink kind of bled, so it was really, really difficult to read the pattern. We made it work though, and now that Mom's eyes are fixed, she can see for miles. I'm still over here blind as a bat, obviously. Okay, and then this is my Autumn Quaker. And I have to be honest, I am obsessed with this one. I love this one as much as I love summer. They are both absolutely stunning pieces. And I will say this, I do bobbinate the Valdani as I go. They come in little rounds, but once you start unraveling the rounds, they don't stay wound. So I just put them on bobbins and I write what their number is and everything, and then they are universal. So for example, this P4 is also in my Summer Quaker, so if I have leftover from one or the other when I finish it, I can just transfer it over to the next project. And they're dyed, so they're not all going to be perfect, which is okay. So this is Autumn Quaker again, Rosewood Manor, Karen Kluba, and this has gotten quite a bit of love. I believe I started this one at the very beginning of autumn this last year. I could be wrong though. This one was for sure a corner start. So I'm working on finishing this one, and then I've jumped down and I'm working on this one. So a lot of the colors in this are also down here. So I'm able just to carry it down. And I don't typically do that, but I believe I was working on a challenge for this at the time. So I needed to do either a specific color or a specific count. So I dropped down. I can't remember what I was doing. Or I got irritated and decided I needed another motif to work on, which is also very possible. This is one that I do have to work on at the table or here at my sewing table, because it is a paper pattern and it is not blown up, so I can't see it as well as I can some of my others. Okay, and this is called Oh Feathers, and this is also a Rosewood Manor. You'll see a trend. I have an obsession with Rosewood Manor. I also have an obsession with peacocks. So this came out in 21. I was living actually out here in Kansas for the first time when this came out. So has really beautiful fancy flosses. They're not variegated or anything, but they're absolutely gorgeous, and they stitch very, very nicely. And this is a center start on a massive chunk of Ada. I don't know what we were doing. I think I say that every time I do a video, but I really don't know what we were thinking when we dyed it. Mom had dyed it for me, so like I said, I was living out here at college, and I wanted to start it, so she dyed the Ada for me. It's just a really pretty Sync Blue dye. And then sent it out to me. This is, if I recall, I believe this is the top of the pattern. Yeah. So, or almost. So this goes up another 6 and then it'll be the top. So I've obviously got a ton of extra material going up, and then I will across as well. Once I get an idea of where the width is one way or the other, I'll probably trim it down just for ease of working. I believe this is a chunk of 16 count Ada that we dyed, or Mom dyed. I'm not sure though. I can't remember what we decided I was going to do it on. This one is really enjoyable. I do try to do a chunk of the burnt orange because there is a lot of that one, and then there's also a lot of black as well. So I try to do a skein. I try to do a skein of that every time I pull this out. And then the teals or the blues are really fun to work with. Okay, and then this is my Phoenix Rising project. And I don't believe I have much done on her. So this is by Lyndon Ravenscroft. I know I started this one during college. I believe I started it between my sophomore and junior year of college, I believe. And I have a very piddly corner start. So that is where I am at. I love phoenixes. I love the story and the symbolism behind them. So I don't have many going at the moment, but I do enjoy how they look and stitching them. Okay. The next project is my other Quaker. Let me get a drink. So this is Winter Quaker. In my cardinal bag. Ironically enough, we do not get cardinals out here in the wintertime. We get them in the summertime, but not much in the wintertime. But okay, so project. Yawn. Brain cell rearrangement. Okay, so this one was also a corner start. I believe I've had a page finish. I believe so. Yes. I completed the first page and I am now working on the second page. I struggle with this one. I think it's just because the colors are a little bit more dull than autumn or summer. So I don't work on it as frequently. But I do pull it out from time to time. So, like I said, this one, autumn and summer are all on 14 count. And then once I can land on something for spring that I'm happy with, I will get it started. And the only reason why spring isn't started is it has some muted colors, very similar to this one. And a lot of the dye projects I have done so far have been really bright, and I fear that it's going to wash out the colors, but I do want to stick with the the green theme with it. So I'm still kind of playing with the dyes. I've tried some box dye. I've tried some liquid dye. I tried doing a box and liquid dye. That one was really pretty. It actually turned out looking like a really bright green apple. Too bright for that project, but it'd be a great piece for a Halloween project. Okay, we are down to the bottom of a box. There are 2 more to go. So, excuse me, this is called Deep Ocean. And this was a COVID start as well. I'm not going to try to say her name because I will butcher it. And I believe this is on a chunk of 20 count Ada. And I am in 939 Torture. I believe this is the edge of the page, or not quite, and it is nothing but 939. So there is there is little need to explain why that one is where it is at right now. And I guess in theory I could work down to the windowsill and then work my way back up. But I like to complete pages before I move on to the next page, if possible. I learned my lesson was simply meant to be about page jumping. Okay. This is Frederick the Literate. And this one is currently living in timeout indefinitely until I can come up with a new plan for it. I accidentally started, so this is a wide piece, and I accidentally started it with the material. So the material is like this instead of being like this. And obviously it's supposed to go like this. And this was also a COVID start. Mom was able to pick it up for me from Joann's with a coupon. My concern is that I believe I've counted it, and it is wide enough. It's just, it's tight. I am also just not enjoying it on the black. Oh, hello. There we go. So obviously I've done the shelf. I've started working on him and then the books. The black itself is just very unfriendly. It's unforgiving. It's your typical kit Black Ada. I am really torn on what to do with this because I want it done and I want it on my wall. I just cannot stand this Ada. The only issue is that it is kit floss, so I would have to frog this and try to salvage it. So I need to come up with a plan, and I might just say, you know what, finish it, get it out of the box, and you know what, you learned your lesson for next time of, you know, paying attention before you start something. We shall see. And then Mom found this awesome book material. I don't even know where she got it, but I love it. Okay. This is... yes. Okay. So, I believe it was during... either 21 or 22, Lakeside Needlecraft was doing a hedgehog stitch along, and I don't have all of them printed off at the moment because I got busy, but I do have parts 1 through 8 printed off. So this is what the parts look like that I do have printed off so far. And I have completed him and her, and I've started on him. So I am way behind. There are a ton of stitches in these little guys. So this is where I am at. They are so fun and there's so much detail in them. I need to sit back down and get these guys done. And now that I have the whole pattern, they are Pattern Keeper compatible. Obviously, I just don't have my backstitch lines on there, but I can work. I can still use my hard copies for the backstitch lines. So I think that's something that I might do just for ease of stitching so that I can get more done. Because that was something that I did have issues with was there's just so much stitching in those guys, and having Pattern Keeper would make it a lot easier. And then this is my Thorny Tribe. So this is another Rioli's kit, and you can't see it, but hanging up over here above my window is my first Rioli's kit that I finished. It is another hedgehog kit. I specially finished it, or framed it, I mean. And it had the wool thread in it as opposed to normal floss. So that was a learning curve, to say the least. So this is what he looks like. Now they're not that big. My other hedgehog finished out at 9.5 by 9.5. He will finish out at 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. So not that big, just a lot of stitching. Let's see. So this is where I am at. I have an eyeball. This has the most brilliant color palette ever. I really do enjoy working on this one. I have multiple copies of this printed, unfortunately, because there's so much backstitch. And I learned my lesson with the other one to have multiple copies because I make mistakes a lot. Okay, so this is Mini Cancer Chesterton. So this is what it looks like. And I haven't worked on this one in a while. So this is the measly little start that I have. If I recall, I am missing a good portion of my floss for this one. And that's why it hasn't gotten much love, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look in my box. So that is him. And okay, and next is Les Saisons du Hérissol by Madame Chantilly. And these guys are adorable. I believe, yeah, I have a very measly start. I have not gotten these guys back out, which I should, because it's spring and I could get the spring guys done. Just a thought. I dyed the Ada, the dark grays, so that the white could pop. And then there was also very little washing out of the other colors. Okay. So this project is currently in permanent timeout. This is Encounter by I cannot read that writing for some reason. Anyway, Babette is her first name. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece. It's not that dark. I don't know why that print is so dark. This is where I am on it. And this is a huge chunk of 25 count. I started this piece doing 2/1 on 25 count. And I didn't know any better. A young stitcher still at the time. I would like to restart it. But frogging it damages the Lugana. So I'm stuck in a pickle of flipping it over and pushing my start up a little bit, and then if need be, then frogging out what I need to. I haven't touched it since I started having issues with working on it. It just made it feel like I was trying to push a needle through carpet almost. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this one. I want to get it done. I don't want to ditch it. I just need to come up with a new plan on how I plan to get it done. I'm going to clean up my mess so I can access my other 2 boxes, and then I will be right back to you guys. All right, box number 2 acquired. And if you're wondering if all those projects were in the box that I was working on, no. Some of them were free-floating from downstairs, and then others had been recently put into bags, so they didn't fit into the boxes. So technically I got through all the free floaters and then my big box, which is most of my big projects. So now we're on to another box, which should go a little bit quicker. Okay, so this one I do not have a cover picture for. It is Liberty Quaker by Misty Purcell. And I believe you can still get this one on her Etsy page. And this is where I am at. I cuss the, I believe it's oatmeal. I cuss that material, that words, floss, is very rough, and one of the skeins we have is actually really, really soft. And then some of the others, it's like, what in the world? This is completely opposite of that skein. So I'm not sure if maybe that one skein had a bad trip in the dye bath or what happened, but it is very, very unfriendly to work with. Okay, this is my Mirabilia. If you guys recall, downstairs in my, well, it used to be the office, is now the nursery. I have my beautiful mermaid that Mom made me a couple years ago. And I adore it. So this is my mermaid. She is Mermaid of Atlantis. And she is huge as well. So this is, let's fold that. This is where I am. Hello. This is where I am at. So I dyed the Ada wanting to capture the brighter side of Atlantis. So I've come over here and I've been working up the border, and then I've been working in her hair and her tail. I do have quite a few beads already started into this. Her tail and then what she's holding right here is very, very bead heavy. So unfortunately I can't skip the beads and then come back. I do have to do the beads as I go so that I can keep up with the project. I believe I have everything. So all the fancy flosses, all the beads, all the everythings. And I enjoy working on her when I get her out. There's just a lot that happens in it, so I try to get as much done as I can in a setting. Okay, this is Mini Night Cafe by Leonid Afremov. And all of you know I am obsessed. He is my Van Gogh with him. And this is where I am at. I believe I'm almost to the edge of the page over here, but I'm not for sure. So that is where I'm at with this one. And we started this on a chunk of 14 count Ada. I do have this pattern now in Pattern Keeper, so I don't have to use the paper copy. But I do reference it from time to time if need be. Okay, this is one of my favorite projects. It is not done yet though, because it is very, very huge and there's a lot that goes into it. So I am working on the Woodland Fairies hedgehog. So this guy. And I dyed a really pretty blue for it. So this fairy is done, and I've started on him, and then I've been working my way into the hedgehog. There's a lot of backstitch, there's a lot of quarter stitches, there is just a lot in this one. But it is absolutely stunning, and I do love working on it. But I do need to get this done sooner rather than later so I can get this booklet back to Mom, because she wants to stitch the other projects that are in that one. So I need to get my life together and work on it. And then this one is also, I don't believe I have I don't. So this project is called A Witch's Best Friend, or Witch's Best Friend. It is a Joan Elliott, and it is out of her Majestic, I can't remember. It's out of one of her booklets. But it's the Black Cats in the potions room, I guess you will. And that's where I'm at. So, not a whole awful lot. If you were wondering, I do have a black cat. Her name is Salem. She is not quite 3. And she is the queen of the queen of the nest here in our home. So, pretty great. But, alright. Another pause. It's going to be like 2 seconds for you guys. I'm going to get my last box and then we'll be back at it. Okay, last box acquired. You guys do not want to see the chaotic mess down here on my floor right now. I'll have to bully Logan into helping me pick everything out because I don't bend over right now. So I have a Mill Hill going at the moment. It is nowhere near done. So this is my Mill Hill. And it is very slow going. I'm not a huge fan of the color palette on this one. I struggle with the greens, but this one needs to get done. I want it out of my box. And it's actually the only Mill Hill that I have going at the moment. And Mom made me this adorable little bag. It's for Halloween projects, but it's the perfect size for Mill Hills. So I use it for Mill Hills. This is prickly but cute. Mom has finished hers. I am still working on mine. So this is the whole set. And I am a huge plant mom. I, ironically enough, actually have a couple of these, ironically. And then I actually lost my aloes. We had a really bad cold snap come through a couple months ago, and my aloes unfortunately did not make it. So hopefully I can pick some up once the nurseries get them in and get them replaced. My cats like to try and eat my aloes though, so I have to be really careful with that. But this is where I am at right now. And I kind of just go with the flow of what I want to work on. So I either go up or get down or to the side or, you know, whatever. But I always focus on, well, he's not done. I don't know why he's not done. I try to make it a point to focus on each cactus as I go. What are you missing? Oh, it looks like he's just missing the flower on top and his water and backstitch. So that could be done in 10 minutes. I don't know what I was doing, but that is where I'm at. I love this little guy. He is adorable. And I'm really excited to get down to the Christmas cactus that is over here. That one's gonna be a lot of fun. I do need to start working on my border and making it a point to get that started on. I haven't even thought about working on it. It is white though, so I might wait. We'll see. But I love these guys. They are so much fun to work on. And very opinionated for little cactuses. Or cacti, I should say. Proper terms, Morgan. This is my pride and joy. And why she is not done yet, do not come for me because I do not know. This is my Mother Moon by Joan Elliott. And as I stated earlier, I am a Cancer, so Mother Moon is my reigning planet, quote unquote. And to be completely honest, I am just absolutely enamored with this project. I keep meaning to, when I'm out visiting Mom, take and blow up this pattern so I can finish it. I have highlighted so much on my working copy that I have bled a lot of my symbols. If I sat down, I could probably have that done in a month or two. I need a new copy of my pattern. So I might bug Mom about getting me that. Okay, this is a Santero project. It's a Gorgeous Girl kit. I think Gorgeous Girls are adorable. Unfortunately, I can't get them here in the States, though. If I recall, they're a European product, I guess is the best way to say it. But I love it, and I think it's adorable. This one's called You Brought Me Love. And I love her little squirrel friend. Squirrels and I do not get along out here because they eat my tomatoes out of my garden, but they're, I guess, a needed part of the ecosystem in some regard. So this is where I am at. Looks like I was working in her dress. Excuse me. Working in her dress the last time I had this out. So slowly but surely working my way through this one. Okay, this is another one that I don't have the cover for. It's called Spring Fling, and it is by With Thy Needle and Thread. I haven't worked on this one in a while. Probably another one I should get out since it's springtime. But what I have been up to, or what I did get done last time I worked on it, was it looks like leaves. Looks like I was having some fun with flowers and leaves. If you've done this one or you've seen this one, you know that the bunny is white. So I am procrastinating like nobody's business on stitching him because neon pink Ada and white floss don't mix. So, yeah. But this one's really fun. I love the color palette. It's a lot of fun. I would love to get that one done, and it won't be done by Easter this year because, you know, Easter's in 3 weeks, but I can try to get it done. Okay, this one is called, what are you called? I call it Beware. That's not its actual name. It is my grumpy little toad. I did a color swap on his body from the called for green. It was one green for his whole body, and I didn't like it. So I said, well, I'm going to dive into Mom's Fancy Floss stash, and I found a really fun Fancy Floss. So I have worked on him. I believe his hat is mostly completed. And then I've worked my way up to the top, and I'm working on one of the top borders right now. So that is where I'm at right now with Mr. Toad. I hope I can get him done maybe this year for Halloween. And this is out of the 2014 Just Cross Stitch edition. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that I had another temperature piece that I was working on, and I in fact do. This is Stitchin' Mommy's temperature garden, and in earlier videos of hers you can see this piece. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it for the angry flower. That is my fondly called project of this, is the Angry Flower project. I was working on this, I'd started it when I was still at home during COVID, and then when I had moved out here that summer, this came with me. I also decided to do 2-over-1 on this, and it's fun and it's great, and the flowers absolutely pop up and everything, no pun intended, but it is tedious when there's, oh my gosh, that is washing out terribly, 5 stitches in one area. These colors are not that muted. They are very, very bright. This pink is practically neon pink, not muted pink. This was a really warm year for Colorado. And yes, all of my projects minus the one that I have going right now, so the Walk With Me, is based in home, not here. So hopefully I can sit down at some point and finish this. But we shall see. Like I said, I do have all the temperatures wrote down. I just need to sit down and get them stitched in. Okay. This is my Wheat Fields with Crow by Arenco. It is my Van Gogh piece. I believe I've mentioned this before in previous WIP Praise or previous times I've worked on this. I did an impressionist piece based off of this project when I was in middle school. Um, and I just adore this piece. So I'm just working across the top, um, and bit by bit getting it done. And it is a long and skinny piece. So I believe I'm also stitching this on either 14 or 16 count. And finally, my last project is Quotes to Live By. So this is, wrong side, Morgan. This is what it will look like when it's done. In Mom's last video, she actually showed hers. And this is where I am at. So yeah, definitely one that I need to get done to have hung up in our kitchen or our dining room. Either location would be good. Okay, so that was my, I wasn't counting amount of projects. I would love to get many of these taken care of and finished and hung up on our walls. I just need time to slow down, and I know very well that that is the opposite of what's about to happen. So if you are just here to see the pretties, you are more than welcome to leave. Thank you for staying and watching all my pretties and listening to me ramble. I'll give a quick update on personal life now, if you'd like to stick around. So if you're gonna scurry and watch the next video, please have a wonderful day and enjoy whoever you watch next. For personal life, I am doing really well. Like I mentioned earlier, the baby is absolutely growing. I had to take my car into the dealership on Saturday. I have some power steering issues happening. I guess it's pretty common for this model and this year of Buicks, so learned that. The bushings on the car wore and actually started to rip apart. So they're replacing it currently. I should be able to pick it up tomorrow or Wednesday. This week is a normal week for me, and when I say normal, I don't have like doctor's appointments or anything like that. Next week, like I said, we have an ultrasound for Chili, and then it'll be Easter. So that's where we're at. We are in the thick of planning our baby shower for the middle of next month. Mom and Dad and my brother get to come out and partake, so I'm really, really excited to see them. And then before I know it, June's gonna be here. Like I said, I'm doing well. I'm very busy with work. I'm up to my ears busy. It seems like I'm running around with like a chicken with my head cut off most days, but it works. We're currently dog sitting for my in-laws. They are down in Cozumel. They should be home, I believe, next week. I can't remember for sure. And then I have some training stuff this week, ironically enough, for work as well. So other than that, that is where I am. I'm staying busy and cooking the little chili, and we have been working diligently on getting the nursery ready so that when the baby gets here, Chili has a place to sleep and exist. So like I said, we're turning what used to be our office into the nursery. It's connected right to the bedroom. And then once Chili's older and then, big kid bed, we will be rearranging upstairs and putting that space for Chili up here. So Chili's room will be up here. And yeah, that's later down the road. That's not, immediate concern. Although, as time seems to be doing, it's going to be here before I know it. Other than that, that is all that I have going on. Like I said, mom posted a video earlier. She just got it up. So go and enjoy that. I'm going to get this up, and then you'll have 2 videos from us. So have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. And if I don't come back to you anytime soon, have a very wonderful, happy Easter. Bye, guys.